So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at both Blissey and Chansey, because I'm going to do the evolution lines together. And Chansey is also a very usable Pokemon, unfortunately, but we'll get to that one. Don't worry. We're okay, because we're going to start with Blissey for now, and we'll get to Chansey. So, Blissey, I think, should be a Calm Mind Pokemon. Treat it like a Cresselia has been, where it's gone for the Calm Mind boosts. You can't KO it because it's so bulky, and it's also got access to recovery and soft boiled. So, there's no Dynamax here, so Pokemon won't be able to just blast through the Blissey. This could immediately win games. If you burn a physical attacker, and they've only got special attackers left, or something like that, or if they've only got special attackers left, you pretty much immediately win on the spot with Blissey, because they will not be able to break you. So this definitely can have some usability, for sure. This is optimal for its EV spread here, because you want to maximize your attack so you can actually do some damage. 75 is not so bad. I think it's on par with Cresselia, so you can do exactly the same thing there. You definitely want to maximize your defense, because look at that. You over double your defense. So you over half the damage you would take on the physical side rather than investing in HP. You've already got enough HP. You don't need more. So this is going to be the optimal way of running Blissey. You could run Bold and get a tiny bit more defense, but Bold is better when you've got the Eviolite on Chansey, because then that gives an extra bit on top. You still very much can do that, but then you do sacrifice quite a bit of offensive power. It's still fine to go Bold, though, in case you need to survive a bit more physical attacks. But basically, pair this with Intimidate Pokemon, pair this with Will-O-Wisp Pokemon, or Charm Pokemon, or anything that deals with physical attackers. Just get rid of the physical attackers, you win with Blissey. That's basically it. So, Hyper Voice, maybe a spread attack, which is going to be very nice, and stab on top of that, and then you've got the coverage of Shadow Ball so you can hit ghost types, because you also want to turn into a ghost type, because fighting is the only thing super effective against you. Why not be immune? So you both get to be defensive as a ghost, and you get to be offensive as a ghost, because you get to stab on top of Shadow Ball, which is the thing that's going to hit the only thing that's completely immune to your normal type attack. So perfect coverage here. It's going to be an absolutely ideal set. I would maybe go Healer on this as well. Like, special defense drops 40% of the time is actually pretty good with Serene Grace. Healer is also a good ability. I wouldn't run Natural Cure, because with this Blissey you want to switch in and stay on the field. You're not intending to switch out with this Blissey, so Healer would be good in case your partner has got a status condition. That would be fine as well. Either of those abilities is fine. Pick your favorites. Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball is great coverage as well. Ice Beam and Thunderbolt would also be great coverage. So always have Calm Mind and Soft Boils, and choose your pair of coverage. Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball is probably best. We've already seen that Thunderbolt and Ice Beam has been amazing as well. Because the idea as well is that you could run an Electric Seed on your Blissey, run a Pincurchin, and then you are sorted. Because then you've sorted out your defenses, and then you're not going to be able to KO on the physical side as easily as well. You can tear it into an electric type to make use of your stab Thunderbolt in electric terrain after a Calm Mind, and that's actually going to do some significant damage. If you have the Electric Seed, I would recommend going Bolds, because then that extra little bit will help. But yeah, just basically pick the coverage you need. If you are tending to run Blissey, just choose whichever coverage you need. You can get away with the same thing on Chansey, but it's got way less special attack. Like 35 is probably not worth it. You need like 2 or 3 Calm Minds before you're actually doing damage. The upside of Chansey is, like, you don't need Electric Seed for your defense to actually be good. So you will be able to survive some defensive hits with this Chansey. You take so much damage on the defensive side with Blissey. So that's the downside of Chansey. I would definitely lean towards Blissey if you are going with the Calm Mindset, because the damage output more immediately will be significant, because they can't do any damage to you if they're KO'd. So definitely go with the Blissey as my recommendation if you're going with the Calm Mindset. But Chansey can definitely do some things better that Blissey can't. Supporting is what it can do better. You don't need any offensive coverage at all if you just run Seismic Tossed, because it's going to be the guarantee 50 HP every single time, so you don't need any offenses at all. Look at that, 9 attack at level 50, that's hilarious. And then, yeah, these are some great supportive options. We've seen, back in 2017, a pure support Blissey got top 8 at Nationals. Nick Navarre got it with Heal Pulse and Soft Boiled. So you could heal your partner for 50%, you could heal yourself for 50%. Life Dew splits that and heals 25% for both. And that is quite significant. Like, I am a huge fan of Life Dew. I might be the biggest Life Dew fan in the world, because I used it so much in Generation 8, and it was amazing. It still very much can be amazing. Chansey is a very hard Pokemon to KO because it's got such amazing bulk. Life Dew is enough. 50% recovery with Soft Boiled is pretty good, but Life Dew is good enough because it heals your partner as well. It's helping support your partner in one go. You could have Heal Pulse and Soft Boiled. That's on a couple of the recommended sets I've got here, the Heal Pulse there. Although I haven't got Soft Boiled, but you can definitely run Soft Boiled with it as well. But this is a combination that I've used a lot in Generation 8, and was basically the cornerstone of my only really successful team, because I got second at one tournament in Generation 8, because we're not talking about Generation 8, and it was with Gravity Sing. Gravity makes Sing 91% accurate. That is pretty good. And because Chansey is going to be so hard to KO, then you are able to get your Gravity up pretty freely, and then go for your 91% Sing spam. So that is a pretty good combination. You can pair this with a Pokemon like a Azumarill, for example, is pretty slow. Will be able to underspeed your Chansey. You can lead with Azumarill and Chansey and go for a Gravity Sing with both Pokemon. And then both Pokemon have 91% accuracy, and then you can belly drum with your Azumarill, for example. Azumarill would be a good partner because it can deal with the fighting types that would want to deal with the Chansey as well. So Gravity Sing is a recommendation. No one's going to take it because I use Gravity and Sing because, you know, I'm that guy. But Life Dew is great. Use Life Dew. Really good. But if you don't want to, these are some other moves that I do recommend on the Chansey. Icy Wind instead of, or as well as Seismic Toss, doesn't really matter, is a attack that helps. Like, you don't care about damage at all. It will do 1 damage, maybe a little bit more, but it's speed control as well. So that's not too bad. Like I mentioned, Heal Pulse gives 50% to your partner. That could be more significant than 25%, or maybe necessary on some teams to be able to bulk it out. If you do have Heal Pulse, I recommend having Soft Boil on the Chansey instead. Helping Hand is a great supportive move because, again, you don't need to do the damage. Your partner can do the damage instead, and giving them a boost is going to be very nice. Chansey is bulky enough to make use of Stealth Rock. You don't see Stealth Rock in VGC. It's usually too fast-paced to set up hazards. Chansey is slow enough and bulky enough that I do think it could make use of Stealth Rock in VGC, because there is a reasonable amount of switching. Stealth Rock would be good. But the icing on top. I'm just taking a moment to bask in that. Isn't it wonderful? I'm not complaining. I don't know where Minimize has gone, but I'm not complaining. You want to see something wonderful as well? Even if it did. Only in DD with base 65. Isn't that lovely?